What's up, everybody? My name is Godzi, and welcome back to another episode of Umineko When They Cry Answers Arc. Last episode, we continued as Clair continued telling her story, getting quite a bit into the epitaph, and I think we're actually probably gonna get the answer for it, because honestly, I don't see how they can just give me, like, half of the answer and then just be like, okay, find the rest of it. I still have no idea what the remaining 5 letters are supposed to mean in the word quadrillion, but either way, yeah, that's what happened last episode. So, yeah, I guess I'll go over the comments now. I'm a little bit tired right now, even though it's nearly noon, so I don't really know. I'm just a little out of it, but hey, I should be fine once I actually get into reading. Hell, after I go over the comments from last episode, of which there were really only 3. There were more, but those were replies, but still. So the first thing is, it is indeed possible to solve the epitaph before episode 5, which I figured. I mean, I've been told time and time again, the mystery is solvable by the end of episode 4. So, wahoo for that, and apparently a couple YouTubers actually figured out the answer to the epitaph, or at least the majority of the answer. One in episode 3, which I think is crazy, honestly, and the other in episode 4. I don't remember what specific YouTubers they were, but yeah, it is possible. And the second thing is about George again. Apparently, George, I seem to slightly remember this happening sometime in Questions Arc, but I don't fully remember it. About George, like, looking down on Jessica and Battler for their way of speech. Like, I don't remember exactly when this was gone over. It was probably in episode 3 or 4, but I don't remember, honestly. Basically how George thought it was unfair or stuff like that, how Shannon fell for Battler at first, because George is such a gentleman, and Battler's just a, for lack of a better term, a Chad, even as said in that comment. So, yeah, I don't remember when that was, so I guess I was wrong about that being an accidental spoiler that hasn't been gone over yet, because I slightly remember it, but whatever. So, yeah, I guess I see the controversy with George and how he lusted after Shannon at age 17 when she was, you know, 12, so that's great. So yeah, that's the whole thing with George, and honestly, I kind of see, like, a weird, like, I don't think George's tendencies are necessarily just because, oh, George is a creep. I think it probably has something to do with the way he was raised. Like, it's pretty clear that the way Eva raised him kind of fucked him up. Like, that much is obvious after his fight with Beatrice in episode 6. Eva sort of fucked him up a little bit. Like, George is relatively level-headed at age, how old is he now, 23? 24? 20-something. Not late 20s, but early 20s. I don't remember. He's 5 years older than Battler, so I think he's 23 then, yeah. So, basically what I'm trying to get at is, I don't know how many people have watched the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but I'm getting, like, heavy Billy Bibbit vibes from George after thinking about it a little more. Because the thing with Billy in that movie was, like, the whole movie took place in a mental asylum, and Billy developed a fear of his mother, anxiety, and all that. I'm not saying George has a fear of his mother or anxiety, but it's, like, in the same vein that everything that's wrong with him was basically caused by his mother. Billy basically, like, he didn't lust after a girl who was 12 when he was 17, but he would just constantly try to get with girls for the sole purpose of getting away from his mother. Like, finding a girl, falling in love with her, and moving out of his mother's house. That's what his whole archetype was. I feel like with George it might be somewhat the same. How he only, like, maybe at age 12, with Shannon being 12, George lusting after her might be, you know, completely different in that regard. Especially since Shannon is technically his aunt, since Shannon is the son or daughter, I suppose, of Kinzo and Kuwadorian Beatrice, and hell, an aunt that was created through incest, so that's lovely. Granted, George doesn't know that. George thinks there's no blood relation between him and her, but regardless, it could be a factor of him just trying to get with someone so he can get away from his mother, or maybe falling for the servant girl just to spite his mother, because it's kind of been hammered in, like, obviously at this point, Shannon being 17, 18, I don't know how old she's supposed to be now, that she reciprocates feelings for George, but obviously when she was 12, she loved Battler, and I'm not sure exactly how that changed to Beatrice liking Battler, but, you know, whatever. Aside from that, the last comment mentioned the fake death drug again, which honestly, I don't believe in it. Like, it's mentioned how, well, in that comment, it said how Erica basically discovered a fake death drug used in Chapter 6, or Episode 6, Episode 5 or 6, I don't remember which. However, again, it wasn't mentioned before Episode 5, so I don't think it was used at all in the crimes. Maybe Erica could have used it on the victims in Episode 6, or the victims in Episode 6 could have used it to fool Erica to begin with, but she didn't have the detective's authority in the 6th game anyway, so she wouldn't have even known whether they were dead or not. Until, of course, she severed 5 of their heads, and somehow Battler died too, but I don't know how. Aside from that, there was mention in the replies of sedatives that were introduced in Chapter 3, which I definitely think were used in some capacity in, I don't know about Episode 1, 2, 4, 5, 6... Obviously, no one has died in 7. I don't think anyone will die in 7 at this point. But in Episode 3, I definitely think Eva used those sedatives on Kraus and Natsuhi, because that's the only other way she'd be able to kill both of them without causing a ruckus, you know? Like, she sedated their coffee or their tea or whatever they were drinking at the time. More than likely coffee, since they've been up for a goddamn while. But yeah, I don't think the fake death drug was used, and even if, hypothetically, a fake death drug exists and was used by the culprit in Chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, like, obviously that would imply Rose is the culprit. If, like, this fake death drug exists, let's assume Rose is the culprit. Even without this fake death drug, you could definitely assume Rosa could be the culprit in 2, 4, and 5, as Rosa survives until the end in 2. 4 is open-ended enough for basically anybody to be the culprit other than Battler or Maria, or obviously Kraus or Natsuhi, due to the Red Truths. And Episode 5, it really depends on whether or not Rosa, George, Maria, Jessica, and Genji died before or after Hideyoshi did. So, yeah, I'd assume they did die beforehand, but it's open-ended there, so it's plausible that Rosa killed the other, victims of the first Twilight, then killed Hideyoshi before she got killed by, like, Shannon Cannon Beatrice Yasu. So, yeah, that's plausible, I suppose. But then the first and third games are where it really kind of just doesn't hold any more water. Because in the third game, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this last episode, Rosa's certainly dead on the second Twilight. Like, no chance for survival. Her head was impaled through the fence. Meaning, she is dead and was unable to kill George or Nanjo on the 9th or 10th Twilights. Well, they're actually both the 9th. Like, yeah, George could have been killed by Eva, but I seriously doubt Eva would have killed George. I seriously doubt she killed Hideyoshi either. I think Kyrie killed Hideyoshi, And then Shannon, Cannon, Beatrice, Yasu killed George. And then Nanjo obviously would have to be killed by Shannon, Cannon, Beatrice, Yasu as well. If Rosa was the culprit, then she would have needed to have an accomplice. And, well, what accomplice could she have had at that point? Because we got a red truth. Eva did not kill Nanjo. Jessica did not kill Nanjo. Battler did not kill Nanjo. And Battler has seen the corpses of everybody other than those of the first Twilight, excluding Shannon, I'm fairly sure. So, yeah. And as for the first game, Battler saw Rosa's corpse on the first Twilight. Meaning, like, unless this fake death drug, like, bypasses the detective's authority, which would be bullshit, Rosa's dead on the first Twilight for sure. So, yeah. Fake death drug is not something that I think factored into the murders of the first through 5th games. 6th game, I think it could have been used again, but only by people pretending to play dead just to fool Erica. And obviously 7th game doesn't matter, no one's died, I don't think anyone will die, it's still possible, but I doubt it. I think we're nearing the end of the 7th chapter anyways, probably like 3 or 4 more episodes, I have no idea. But either way, something I'd like to discuss is, I think I figured out what gender Leon or Shannon, Cannon, Beatrice, Yasu is. I think they're male. My reasoning for this is, one, I cannot picture Leon wearing a dress. I just seriously cannot. Because Leon is, how old, 19? And it's still implied that Leon is in high school, I believe? Or has recently graduated. I don't know how old Japanese students are when they graduate high school. But either way, they would have a uniform. So, that would imply Leon wears a female's uniform, and I can't picture that in my head. That's weak evidence, I realize that. But as far as, like, everyone else in the family, if Leon is female, that would mean Leon is the only female in the Ushiromiya family that does not wear a skirt or dress. Because Natsuhi, Jessica, Eva, Kyrie, well, Eva and Kyrie, it's more like pants dresses, but still. Rosa, Maria, and then even Kumasawa and Shannon, well, this would mean Shannon's a guy anyways, they wear dresses, or skirts, or whatever. As well, Leon is just like, my gender should be obvious. Leon kind of, you know, looks like a dude. I forget what my other reasoning for it was, but I'm pretty sure Leon is a guy. So how that plays into Yasu is, oh, no, that's what it is, duh. Natsuhi referred to the baby from 19 years ago as a male, meaning she knew this baby was a guy. So, Leon is male, Shannon and Cannon are males, meaning, hey George, you're kind of in love with your uncle. So, yeah, obviously he doesn't know that, but this would mean that Yasu is male, was given the blessed name Shannon, and was raised as a female for, I don't know, reasons. As for how this plays into the culprit's motive, I got no clue. Not a single clue at all. But I'm fairly sure that just Natsuhi referring to them as the man from 19 years ago means male, male, and male. So, let's continue now. Quadrillion. There's only one place you'll find that word on Rokanjima, and I have no idea where it is. Gold butterflies flitted from shadow to shadow, dodging raindrops. Hello, Beatrice. Unless my memory is mistaken, this is probably the place. It was the chapel. The chapel, okay. I did suspect that wherever Erica and Battler were in, was it the 5th or 6th game where they solved the epitaph? I think it was the 5th. Yeah, it was the 5th game where they solved the epitaph together. They were outside somewhere, meaning that they were outside a building that was outside. Which was either the Kuadorian, the chapel, or the gardening shed, and I suppose the chapel makes sense. The mysterious building, one of the oldest on Rokonjima, which had been built at the same time as the mansion. It was called the chapel, but not once had Kinzo used it for worship, and the members of the family had never been allowed inside. There were strict orders that none approach it without reason, and its purpose has always been a mystery. However, all of these mysteries got boring after several decades. At some point, everyone forgot the chapel even existed, and that splendid building passed from the thoughts of Rokonjima's residents. I see. So this building was created to hide the gold. So there's a secret passage from the chapel into the Kuadorian, and as well as where the gold is. Of course, this has been true for Beato as well. Beato, who hated boredom, had no desire to approach places that humans never went. Her last memory was of the time she went in there to taunt Shannon as she tried to clean. Yeah, that's still something. Who the fuck is Gap? There can be no doubt. That is it. Quadrillion. Beato looked up above the door of the chapel. There was a relief displayed over an arch. English words were written there. Oh. You would be blessed only at the probability of a quadrillion to 1. So, you thought that was the probability of someone solving this riddle? I see. That's what that is. Okay, I remember that now. I didn't remember that there was anything written above the chapel, but now that that's mentioned, yeah, I remember in episode 2, when they first entered the chapel, Rosa or Goda or whoever the fuck said, what are these words above the door to the chapel? You will be blessed only at a probability of a quadrillion to 1. Hecky does that mean? This chapel was built long ago. If there is a device like the one I imagine, Kinzo must have prepared that epitaph riddle many decades ago. That's a good point. He must have been planning to use it as a ceremony for choosing a fitting successor all that time. I see. So that means this device also exists in Leon's timeline. But Kinzo prepared it just in case, like, because his children were already born. At least some of them. Like, probably at least Kraus and Eva were born by the time that the mansion and the chapel were built. Because we know Kinzo already had children by the time he met Beatrice Castiglione, right? However, that ceremony is now a ceremony to open the door to the Golden Land and to my resurrection. When I snapped my fingers, the ground bulged, and several snake-like dead trees sprouted up. They twisted around each other to form a ladder, which leaned itself against the door. If my guess is right, there's some sort of device in that relief. I slowly climbed the ladder. Because of the size of the door, the relief was very high up. This close up, it looks much bigger than it did from the ground. Come to think of it, whenever we cleaned the chapel... Wait, oh, this is Beatrice talking. Come to think of it, whenever we cleaned the chapel, this relief was the only thing that Genji always made sure he polished himself. I always wondered why he didn't leave something so trivial to the younger servants. I thought it strange, but nothing more. The master treasured this relief, so the head servant cared for it himself. I always accepted that excuse. But now I understand. There must be something in this relief. And Genji polished it himself to make sure that no one else accidentally found out. Probably means to say that. Quadrillion. So, am I to sacrifice the 6 letters chosen by the key from Quadrillion? The tips of my fingers touched the cue. My fingertips were soon covered with dust. However, I quickly realized that there was something strange about it. Don't tell me this letter. No, it had to be like this. There would be no other way to offer up sacrifices. Beato grabbed the letter Q, and after lightly playing around with it in various ways, she pulled it out with a slight clunk. Just as I thought. Here's the Q I pulled out. And this part's a wedge. No. It's a key. Ah! A key was attached to the back of the Q, and had been stuck into a keyhole in the relief. I see. In that case, I know what to do next. Very good. This Q key is a wrong answer. Enough with you. Beato carelessly tossed the Q key aside. This was the first sacrifice. Oh, they're all keys. She kept on pulling out the keys for the 6 letters representing the key. So, A will also be sacrificed, and both I's, and then the N at the end. Now I only sacrifice one L, but unfortunately there are 2 L's here. There were 2 L's. I didn't know which one I should sacrifice. I tried pulling both out, but the keys were of different shapes. So one is a right answer and one is a wrong answer. Okay, but one is chosen by the key? Well, there are only 2. If I make a mistake, I can just try the other one. Unless messing up sets off a trap that blows up the island, of course. Thinking it a waste of time to sit here worrying, I decided on the rightmost L and pulled it out. 5 letters remained in the word. I just realized something. The end of quadrillion? Leon. L-O-I-N. Is that intentional? And the lion statues, too. Is that also intentional? Kinzo, you sly dog. You have a whatever. And now the first twilight is over. On to the second twilight. On the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. The D and R are close. What does it mean to tear them apart? Do I pull them out? But if I do, there will only be 3 letters left. By this point, I was able to make a good guess at what the gouge and kill lines meant. Gouge and kill probably means to turn the keys and take them out. In that case, the parts about going from head to leg must mean starting at the left and going right. Oh. If that's the case, there must be 5 characters left on the board. I just realized there was no quotation marks. In other words, tear apart doesn't mean kill. If so, we can read tear apart to mean putting a gap between the D and the R. But how? Once again, there are 2 ways to do it. Do I remove the D and move it to the left? Do I remove the R and move it to the right? After pondering for some time, I realized that both choices were wrong, meaning you were supposed to use this other L? No, that's not right. I've had it wrong ever since I removed that L. Yep. A short while ago, I removed the right of the 2 L's. However, if I had removed the left one, it would look like this. If you line it up this way, it's easy to see the next step. The R gets shifted to the right. This way, all the letters are spread out evenly. This must be it. And this next part is another tough one. Praise my name? It's already clear that this is a word game. Those who remain shall praise my noble name. Just what are the remaining 5 letters supposed to do? Probably change their order to form a word. Really? U-D-R-L-O. Form a word. What words can you form with it? I was joking that these are the letters that, like, last episode formed Luxord's name if you add an X. Like, you can form Doctor with the D and the R. Lord? L-O-R-D, but then where's the U go? What should be done about these 5 letters? Praise my name. Like Lord U? U for Ushiromiya? How can I get stuck after coming so far? How are these 5 letters supposed to praise a name? That man's name is Ushiromiya Kinzo. Is the U part of Ushiromiya? No, several letters don't match, and there aren't nearly enough letters to make Ushiromiya. One thing is certain. My name must refer to Kinzo. Then does the U stand for Ushiromiya after all? Like an initial? Then what do the D, R, L, and O stand for? Lord. They can't mean Kinzo. Do the R and O stand for Rokanjima? Then what's the L and the D? The master of Rokanjima, Kinzo. Not nearly enough letters. This riddle left me totally confused. However, there were only 5 letters left. There can't be too many possible combinations of those letters. I could use process of elimination. Thinking I'd play around with it, I pulled out the U. There were 4 letters left. D, R, L, and O. My idea that the U stand for Ushiromiya was like a heavenly oracle. When I removed the U, I thought of making a word with the remaining 4 letters. D, R, L, and O. Those 4 letters spun around in my head, changing their orders, and latched upon a single English word that would serve to praise Kinzo. It's Lord. Lord! I had absolutely no basis for it. However, it was like a flash of inspiration. I quickly changed the letters around before that flash faded from my mind. Lord U. L-O-R-D. Lord U. Ushiromiya. Lord Ushiromiya? On the fourth twilight, gouge the head. Oh-ho? It was a key, so it wouldn't have turned if it was the wrong one. But it did turn. I managed to gouge it. I gouged the first letter, the L, with a click, and then pulled it out. Next, the fifth twilight. Gouge the chest and kill. The O was gouged and pulled out easily. Then the R. Next the D. And finally, the U. When I turned the key of the U, I could feel resistance, as though some device had been activated. I waited for something to change, but nothing did. However, I had felt something happen. A secret door must have opened up somewhere around here. Waiting around won't accomplish anything. I've probably done everything I can here. All the letters in quadrillion have been removed. On the ninth twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. So this way is the witch. Have I revived? The 10th twilight. At journey's end you shall attain to the power of the Golden Land's treasures, once and for the last time. When I stepped down off the ladder and looked around, I immediately noticed a small change. That lion statue! At some point, the lion statue in front of the chapel had turned to face a different direction. How did that work? Did Kinzo plan up this extravagant device back when he first started building on this island? I walked up to the lion statue and stared at it. Other than the fact that it was pointing a different direction, nothing had changed. In that case, is the lion looking at something in particular now? I followed its line of sight and saw another lion statue. And that lion statue had also changed its direction. Interesting. So, follow the lion guideposts. As intricate as ever, I see, Kinzo. I wasn't complaining anymore. I felt a bit of respect and awe at Kinzo for setting up such an intricate device and having it go undiscovered for all these years. There were lion statues standing like garden deities at the entrance and the corners of the chapel. The direction they faced had changed, pointing around to the back of the chapel. There was something there. Oh. It was no longer a surprise. This was after the contraption with the letters, after being guided by the lions. So when a gaping open secret passageway appeared, with stairs leading down to the darkness below, it wasn't surprising to me anymore. So, is this the entrance to the Golden Land, Kinzo? So that's the answer? Yeah, I probably wouldn't have figured that out. Did you find it? Grandfather's gold? Yes. It took ages and ages, but I had reached the Golden Land. According to the previous games, there was an underground VIP room there, along with 10 tons of gold, right? Yes. After going down a rough stairway, there was a door at the end of a passage. Inside, it was beautifully furnished, a true VIP room. And was the gold all you found there? Yes, at the time. It would be a lie to say that I was not dizzied by the sight of all that gold stacked high. Huh. Yep, this room. Is this real? I lightly touched the pile of gold with my finger. It was hard and cold. I must have imagined that it would crumble like a sandcastle if I touched it. Now there could be no doubt. This certainly was a 10-ton pile of gold ingots. Considering the amount of gold I had just found, I figured I ought to be crying out in delight. I didn't really feel like laughing, but I thought it only good manners to do so in a situation like this, so I forced it out. Because of this, only a few feeble laughs slipped from my mouth. At that moment, even stronger than any delight was a feeling as though I'd entered a place I wasn't supposed to be. I couldn't think of what I should do next, now that the epitaph's riddle had been completed. Then, I heard approaching footsteps. It was coming from the stairway I had entered by. Someone was coming. Could it be Kinzo? More than likely. If he finds out I've been in a place like this, will I get scolded harshly? I thought about hiding and forgetting this ever happened, but my legs wouldn't move. I kept standing there, stunned, in front of the pile of gold, as the footsteps drew closer and closer. The door opened and I saw who it was. It wasn't Kinzo, oh boy. Oh, Genji, okay. I was gonna say, if it ain't Kinzo, I'm about to scream. But no, Genji makes enough sense. You! Did you reach this place by your power alone? Indeed! For some time, Genji stared at Beato in silence, as though he was calculating something. Then he slowly clapped his hands together. He did it again, over and over. It took quite a long time before I realized that he was applauding me. The master has said that he will hand over the gold and the headship to the first person who solves the epitaph. And he believed that this person would be Beatrice. Beatrice? Me? This is fate. It is fate that brought you to this day. I didn't really understand what Genji was saying. Surely the shock of seeing the gold still had me paralyzed. Come this way. Okay. Genji opened a closet. Inside it was a torso wearing a beautiful dress made of black cloth and golden stitching. Ah. When I saw it, I understood immediately. It was the witch's dress. The black dress worn by the Beatrice in the portrait. Change into this. It is something you once wore. I've never worn a dress like this. However, I understood what Genji meant. This dress was one that Beatrice once wore. And the one who displays a miracle by solving the epitaph is Beatrice. By reaching this room, I succeeded the position of the real Beatrice, the one in the portrait. Why do I call myself Beatrice? Because the name of the Golden Witch who rules over Rokenjima's night is Beatrice. That's right. I wasn't the real Beatrice. I was a different witch, stealing the name of the witch from Kinzo's delusions. And now I have succeeded the real Beatrice. By solving the epitaph's riddle, my resurrection will be complete. I was the one who decided on that rule. However, this really was a ceremony to resurrect Beatrice. In the past, I believed that I could create my own fate with my magic. How ironic that one who could control magic at will would be guided by fate to this place. At that moment, I had no choice but to truly accept and believe in this word called fate. And after I put this on, you will go to the master. Ready yourself. Wait here. Okay. Master, it is Genji. After Genji knocked, the sound of the study's door unlocking could be heard. After a single glance telling me to wait, Genji entered alone. I cannot believe that this day has come. Fate can be such a strange thing. Kumasawa was with us too. I thought this dress, which didn't really suit me, would lead to a lot of jokes, but she didn't laugh at me at all. On the contrary, when she saw me, her expression had turned stern, as though a long-awaited day had finally come. My heart raced. Supposedly, anyone should have been able to solve the epitaph. There shouldn't be anything strange about me solving it. Genji and the others kept wearing serious expressions, and that, along with everything else, made this feel like some sort of grand ceremony. The suffocating silence continued. Eventually, the door opened, and Genji peeked out. Enter Beatrice. He was saying those words to me, but not to the person I had been until a short while ago. Go ahead. Beatrice? Kumasawa also urged me forward with a respectful bow. Kinzo was probably waiting for me inside. What expression should I wear as I go in? How should I greet him? I don't have a clue. As the two of them motioned me forward, it was all I could do to avoid tripping over my dress as I walked. Kinzo, she is here. Kinzo was crouched on the ground, as though kneeling before the portrait of Beatrice. At Nanjo's words, he slowly turned, still crouching. Oh! Oh! Kinzo's eyes were already red with crying. When he saw me, he groaned with wonder. Beatrice. Beatrice. Had he even forgotten how to stand up, he crawled over to where I was, while calling out to me with the name of the woman he had loved long ago. I was too stunned to move. Kinzo grabbed the hem of my dress, gripped it tightly, then curled up and sobbed. Beatrice, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I knew how you felt, and yet I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Please, please forgive me. The words weren't directed at me. However, just standing here like this was all I needed to do. Kinzo's moment of atonement, the moment he had spent half of his life searching for, had finally come. A human's life is stained with sin, so humans seek forgiveness while they still live. However, in most cases, the person capable of granting such forgiveness is no longer on this earth. It was like that for Kinzo, too. The one he sought no longer existed in this world. Instead, that forgiveness had been woven together by a miracle, and now, Kinzo had received it. Oh, Beatrice. Beatrice. You need not forgive me. You need not say anything. I simply needed to apologize to you just once. Oh. Kinzo kept grasping the dress's hem and sobbing. The sins of humans are not forgiven from without. Forgiveness is found through regret and repentance. I want to believe that some sin, some fault of his, has been forgiven thanks to the way I look. Kinzo's sobbing gradually ceased, and he slowly looked up at me and rose. He looked unsteady. Nanjo rushed forward to support him. So, I see that you are alive. I'm glad. This time, these words weren't directed through me, but at me. I hesitated, unsure how I should respond. I beg your forgiveness for keeping this a secret from you all this time. No matter. I do not fault you, Genji. Considering the sin that I have committed, every single day until now has been necessary for my atonement. However, there can be no doubt that today's miracle is a true one. By her own power, without anyone's help, she solved the epitaph before anyone else. Well done, solving such a difficult epitaph. Thanks. Indeed. Your voice resembles your mother's. Even your face reminds me of that mother and daughter. There can be no doubt that Beatrice's blood flows through your veins. Yes, the traces of the Lady of Kuatorian in her youth are right there. Does my face look like someone else's? Beatrice, please forgive me for keeping this a secret, even from you. Your parents are Beatrice and the Master. What? It's true. Until now, you have been raised as a child without parents. However, your true father is the Master, and your true mother is Beatrice. Is that, really? Yes, you truly are a descendant of Beatrice. Is such a strange fate really possible? I've dreamed about it. Dreamed about what it'd be like to be the Golden Witch Beatrice. But that dream had been mine alone. I dreamed that if I solved the epitaph and carried out its ceremony, I would revive as the true Beatrice. So, is it okay to believe that since I've solved it, Beatrice really has revived? I truly carry Beatrice's blood? Yes, there is no doubt of that whatsoever. It must have been hard for you to live until this day without knowing a parent's affection. And yet look at how wonderfully you've grown. So, you all knew about me? Genji, Kumasawa, and even Nanjo nodded wordlessly. Why is Kumasawa not a one-winged angel? Sephiroth, one-winged eagle servant in the first place? Since she's so goddamn important, you know? Now that I think about it, there might have been a lot of hints. I've always felt as though there was something special about me. Genji, and especially Kumasawa, always treated me very kindly. Then, does that mean this day is a promised day, which would eventually have come no matter what? I don't understand anything anymore. It's all a miracle from God. A promised fate has led me to this day. Beatrice. No. Leon. That is the name I wanted to give you. It is your true name. Leon. I will now return to you everything that Beatrice gave me. I return to you the gold, as well as everything of the Ushiromiya family which was created by it. Kinzo stuck out a hand that looked like a rotting tree. On his finger was a ring with the one-winged eagle crest, the symbol of the Ushiromiya family head. He pulled it off, grasped it tightly, and then held it out to me. I didn't know what to do. Slowly, as though they were being drawn forward, I held out my hands, palms up. After pressing his fists against my cupped hands, Kinzo slowly opened his hands and let the ring drop. Leon, my child. All the ways your fate has been toyed with until today were caused by my sins. Please forgive me. You will now inherit my ring. You are the new Ushiromiya family head. All of that gold belongs to you. I ask that you use it as you please, and hope that it will be enough to heal some small part of the pain you have suffered. That trifling amount of gold may be nothing in comparison with the sin I committed, but even so, it should be enough to bring you some comfort. Thank you. Leon, I have one final request. What is that? Could you call me? Sorry? What did you say? Could you call me Father? Oh, this isn't Beatrice, this is like the chick Beatrice. I understand why you are not able to. I have not been a father to you in any way. Furthermore, you have been raised without knowing anything about a father. I realize that it's not a name you can call me by. And I realize that I have no right to ask this of you. But even with that in mind, please, if I could just hear that, I would have no further regrets. After being asked like that, how could I possibly have refused? Even if I am his child, I truly cannot acknowledge him as my father. So it felt very strange to say it. And yet, I decided that saying it was the right thing to do. Only God can truly forgive sins. But though it may be temporary, people can be saved by the forgiveness of others. Yes. Father. That awkward word made Kinzo laugh. Drops of silver fell from both of his eyes. At that moment, the shadow that had covered his face was wiped away. Thank you, Leon, my child, and Beatrice as well. Thank you for this last chance to ask for forgiveness. Of course, I don't believe that I have been forgiven by this alone. I shall atone for the rest as I burn in the fires of hell. I, Ushiromiya Kinzo, have no more regrets in this life. None at all. No regrets or matters left unfinished. Looking up to the heavens, Kinzo spread his arms as though facing an applauding audience, laughing at the top of his lungs. It was the final pleasure known only by those who had been released from all regrets of this world. Kinzo's laugh weakened, and when it disappeared, he dropped to his knees, like a puppet with its strings cut, and slowly fell to the ground. Master! Dr. Nanjo? Yes. Though their master had fallen, they walked up to him slowly. They already knew. Kinzo's soul had already burned itself out. Oh. After checking Kinzo's pulse, Nanjo shook his head and stood back up. It was a peaceful death. I don't think he had any regrets at all. It may be that the master died long before now. It was only his magic and tenacity that kept him here so long. So really, you're gonna be like that now, saying, oh, we don't even know when he actually died. And he finally had a chance to apologize to Beatrice for everything, and finished everything he had to do. Please, rest in peace, and believe that you have redeemed yourself. I'm gonna assume he died there. I think I just looked too much into that line Kumasawa said. Father. That was the one-night reunion between me and my father, and also our final farewell. Huh. Well, that was an interesting scene. I'm gonna assume Genji. This gold all belongs to you now. If you wish to exchange it for money, I can arrange for that. I hear it's worth 20 billion yen. From here on, any of your dreams in this world can buy granted with money. Ha ha ha! It must be tough to think of what to do with this much money when it suddenly comes your way. There's nothing I desire among the things money can buy. So, for the present, I would like to leave this here. Of course, I'm glad I have a lot of money. However, money can't heal the pain in my heart. I just want him to come back. As you wish. Then, it shall be left here. Also, take this key. What is this? It is a key to the underground VIP room. If you use this, you won't need to use that entrance contraption. She was the only one who knew the answer to the epitaph's riddle, and the only key to this place was now hers. At this point, she truly was the master of this golden VIP room. You are already the master of Rokanjima. You have the right to know all of this island's secrets. We should talk about Kuwadorian, too. That's the mansion your mother lived in. I'm sure you've heard rumors about it. Kuwadorian? There are two mansions on this island, one at either end. One is the mansion we know well, the other is a hidden mansion known as Kuwadorian. Below this island are the remains of a military base built during the war. The master used that to travel between the two ends of the island. Ah. There's an underground path in the back of this room, and if you follow it, you will reach the basement of Kuwadorian on the other end of this island. It is a secret mansion which only the master knew of. Of course, that mansion also now belongs to the new head. It's the mansion your mother lived in. It will probably be worth taking a trip over there sometime. My mother. I've lived alone my whole life. The only person I've ever felt like calling mother is Kumasawa, who always helped me out. So there's a mansion where a mother I've never met nor seen lived. Who exactly am I? Ah. Ask any questions you wish. You now deserve to know everything. Right now, I'm feeling very confused. I don't even know where I should start asking questions. But I'm sure I'll think of plenty of things to ask about. When I do, please tell me. As you wish. Also, being treated so respectfully like that is a bit uncomfortable. I'd be happier if you could talk to me the same way you've always done. If that is what you wish, then I will do so. Ha 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 ha, that's easier for me too. Well now. What will we do now, Genji? Kinzo's dead. I will tell Kraus and Madam that he has passed away. Then we must tell them that Leon is the official successor to the headship. Oh. After all, from this point forth, you are the Ushiromiya family head. Me as the head? That's... And isn't Kraus the successor? The one who solves the epitaph's riddle is the successor. There exists a will specifying this much. The master's final order was that you were to inherit everything. Please wait! I appreciate the sentiments, but I can't do the job of being the successor. And I can't accept such a big responsibility. I think it would be better for Kraus to inherit that role. Are you certain? Today, I have learned who I am. Everyone knows about their parents. But I didn't since the time of my birth. And here, today, I finally learned the truth. That alone is enough for me. If I suddenly became the Ushiromiya family head, how would Kraus react? How angry would Madame be? I don't want to become the head if it means making them feel like that. Today, I learned who I am. Who gave birth to me, how, and when. These are things I want to learn from them as time goes by. That alone is enough. I am Leon, and I am the Golden Witch Beatrice. Knowing that is enough for me. I don't plan on calling myself the head. Kraus can take that job. Is that your order, as the Ushiromiya family head? Yes. As you wish, Master. Then I will make it so. And please, don't tell anyone about what happened tonight. I want to stay me. There's nothing I'd want to do with the Ushiromiya headship or the gold. I want to wait, here on this island as I have done in the past. I want everything to be exactly the same as it was. That's my only wish. As you wish, Master. Everything that has happened tonight will not go beyond those present here. Kumasawa, Dr. Nanjo, that is the wish of the new head. If that's what you want, I have no objections. Kinzo's will entrusted everything to you. If this is what you want to do, none of us will complain. You say exactly the same as it was, but do you really mean exactly the same, with no differences at all? Yes. We'll keep this a secret. This place and the gold will be sealed away. If I need money, I'll ask you about it then. That's enough for me. As you wish. The device leading to this place and the key both belong to you. And all of us swear to keep the events of this night a secret. Kraus will be the successor, but in my heart, you will be the only true successor. As you have ordered, we will behave the same way we always have, but please order us whenever it suits you. You are my only master. Thank you very much. A vast mountain of gold in the ring of the Ushiromiya family head. The dress of the portrait Beatrice. And I became the true Beatrice, the Golden Witch. Right here in my very own Golden Land. If I think about it, not much has actually changed. After all, I've always been the Golden Witch. I've just had a few more people acknowledge that. November 29th, the day I became a true witch. November 29th. Interesting. So that's after the... Well, that was after the 84, conference. Oh, I am one yet many. I am the Golden Witch Beatrice. The true ruler of Rokanjima, and the possessor of endless gold. And yet, I am in no way complete. I await the return of the one person I love. Interesting. So that's the end of the book then? Okay, cool. So, now what? That was interesting. Still doesn't seem to be the end of Chapter 7, though. Oh, womp time. Okay. Well... that's gonna be it for this pretty interesting episode. I'm not quite sure how to end it, but we'll just say my outro. I'll just cut right to the chase. That's gonna be it for this episode, guys. If you liked it, be sure to press the like button. And if you didn't like it, then fuck you too. Remember to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all my videos and stuff. And as always, my name is Godzi, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye!